GM.
Hello and good morning, Dracula. How are you?
I'm all right. I realized last second, I was like, oh yeah, I have to like put us on the stage. That's important.
Yeah, we have to draw the curtain or withdraw the curtain or however you say it. Dude, I've been in Mexico for a whole week. How was it with me gone? Did the people in the chat give any problems?
No, everyone was well behaved. Held down the fort. Did a short stream, but it was a good time. But definitely missed you. It looked like you had fun though.
Oh yeah, I had a great time down there in Mexico. I met all kinds of new people, all kinds of new friends, made all kinds of business connections, and I'm so excited to be back here stateside doing GMSONIC with my good friend Dracula Presley.
So
one thing I'm not excited about is I kind of wanted the price to be a little bit better by the time I got back. I kind of asked, and it seems like he had some problems with that.
Yeah, I was able to do a stream, but I didn't get around to fixing the price, unfortunately. So that was, yeah. I mean, I know that was important, but I kind of messed up the fixing the price part.
Well, as long as the people got the stream, I think that's what they're probably most be happy about. Price comes and goes, dude. But Dracula, could you like did something happen while I was gone? Like, why is it so shitty, dude? What happened? Did someone kill Mr. Bitcoin?
That's what happened.
Did someone kidnap Andre, dude?
Yeah, it was kind of like this crazy thing. It was that they put Satoshi in a cell somewhere in Bangladesh, and some people scooped up Andre, and it's just pretty dark times right now.
Holy shit. Yeah. It's like the end of Avengers or something, dude. All of our heroes are disappearing.
Yeah, so basically, I do have something to kind of sum up the situation. Hopefully it's easy to follow. Let's see here. I'm looking for this one. Okay. So
fuels are spiking, the petrodollars are dying, the bonds are defaulting, the monies are inflating, the famines are coming, the markets are crashing, the jobs are seeing, the debts are piling up, the cyber criminals are hanging, the blackouts are coming, the world wars are starting, the west has fallen. It's over, but I still work Monday morning.
Nothing ever happens, dude. That's what I know.
Yep, nothing ever happens. So, but
I like how like this song is playing, and then like on the right, USB and 30 billion monthly buyback.
it's right
Trump coin
on.
rug pull.
Yeah, it's right on time, man.
It's the end
You
of
know.
days, dude. Ronin Bridge pause. I've never used the Ronin Bridge. It's got a cool name, but
Yeah, there was definitely some scary stuff going on. Basically, there's some good like information out there to follow, but people don't talk as much about one of the miners, Jump, as they are the Japanese yen carry trade that finally got blown up that people have used in forex like forever. But I thought this was interesting. This kind of came out right when things were happening. Like things hadn't gone like off the rails yet, but somebody had already kind of picked up on some like interesting sells going on, saying that like one of the big miners had sold everything and that Jump trading was involved. If you're not familiar with Jump, they're pretty much a plague on crypto. They're very much they're market makers, and but they come from which I think he actually references it below. Maybe not. Maybe the article does. Well, they're market makers, but they're compared to something like Jane Street, which is where SBF famously rose through the ranks on. They're market makers, but they're renowned for manipulating crypto price. They they get in these things like this where they're trying to suppress price. I don't know anybody that feels like, oh, like I'm happy that Jump is in our industry. Like for instance, right here, what they did was they were dumping tokens over the weekend, which, people that try to manipulate price, you always see it start on the weekend because they know it's illiquid, right? Like people aren't trading, it's just a different, whenever someone's going to do something like this, they do it over the weekend. It said they'd been dumping for 22 hours straight. It was actually mostly Ethereum, but like I said, they did help some miner unload. I want to pull up the actual. There's an article that goes along with this.
That's wild. They got a guy just sitting there hammering the sell button over and over again. Max order size, sell, sell, sell. Is that really what's happening? He couldn't write a script to do it.
Well, this little Zero Hedge article kind of lays out actually what they were doing was kind of nastier than that. They were trying to force some liquidations, and what they were doing was they had a bot that was dumping like, it started out just dumping once a day, and then it was cranking up to like once an hour. It had an algo in the bot that basically was, dumping price, and then it was watching for people coming in to skew up the dip and then hammering it again. So basically, like any, people were putting liquidity back in, they were instantly snatching that liquidity as well. Yeah, I mean, like I said, when people do these things, they do it to, spark liquidations, which it did, right? So they got what they were trying to do, which is they wanted to aggressively reprice, majors in crypto. This was on top of, the timing was just right, just because I'm sure this was intentional that they ramped it up when the news about, this started on Friday when they started talking about how because like what was about to happen with Japan raising the rates, the yen carry trade was going to get demolished Monday. So everybody was kind of bracing for it. So I'm sure it was coordinated, knowing that was going to happen.
So you're saying that they kind of front ran this news. They front run this news. They did a front run on this news, but they timed their sell with this news to obfuscate what they were doing, or as a way to, like, in the doing of it, people not realize that it's Jump doing it.
No, I don't think they were even trying to really,
it was just perfectly timed. It was just fortunate, you think?
Yeah, it was that they were already offloading a lot of crypto, and I think when this news arrived,
they're like, we gotta hit the gas. We got to get rid of this even faster because
because we could actually we could actually force more liquidations, kind of like running with this momentum, and it wasn't just crypto. Obviously the stock market, it was something like over the weekend, $1 trillion got wiped out of the stock market. So, we weren't the only ones to suffer pain from it. What the carry trade is, I'm sure you've seen it like tossed around a lot, is the idea is that Japan still had like almost 0% interest to borrow yen, right? And USD versus yen was like a popular thing that people would do, is where you would borrow yen for the really low interest rate and then put it into like US bonds that were earning like 5%. So now on paper, that doesn't sound very sexy, but you do that with millions of dollars. That's kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like someone had an example that, yes, you're talking about really low discrepancies here, but if you had $20 million, you borrowed yen and then you just put it in the US bonds. So you have the bonds. They were talking about how that alone would yield you like $250,000 a year. So, I mean, that's like a salary. I mean, more than a salary.
And that's also like what? That's essentially like risk-free.
Exactly.
Largely risk-free. Or, I mean, like, obviously not completely risk-free, but Japan's interest rate had been zero for what, like 20 years at this point?
Yeah, and that's why
40 years.
Yeah, and that's why when people refer to it, they call it the Japanese carry trade, because of that. It's like been such a staple in the financial industry. But what was happening was you were starting to see the yen deflate heavily in like this last year or so. Basically what happened Friday was they were announcing news like, hey, we're raising our interest rates on borrowing yen to hopefully stop the bleeding of the yen, and everything just went crazy.
That's crazy. Okay. So it was it sounds so stupid. I'm so uneducated on the topic. I remember this now. So Japan had a negative interest rate, and this was the end of the negative interest rate world. So like, used to be what is that? Essentially like the yen is consistently intentionally being devalued, right, with a negative interest rate.
Yeah,
because you're encouraged to borrow as much as possible because the debt is diminishing as you're borrowing it. Wow, that's crazy. And then if you buy a US bond, that discrepancy is even bigger because it's like, I mean, for a while, I mean, it's kind of bad, but still, like, I guess they get more levered up on these things somehow. But I was gonna say,
and I'm guessing that to get unwound, it's like, people are like levering it, which is
because if you were to buy a bond, as long as it's above a 0% interest rate, you're making money.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's wild, dude.
But yeah, people were getting, because everything was tanking. Yeah, like people with big leverage and stuff.
This is terrible news, dude. This is completely terrible news, man. I was looking at resorts in Japan just last night, actually, Dracula. And you know what? You know how much one is in downtown Tokyo, dude?
How much?
You're not gonna find one for less than $2,000.
What, like a night?
And now, if Japan's currency is getting stronger, bro, it's gonna go even higher, man.
Yeah. Well, you should
So
let
now
them
I have
know
no
that
idea
you
what to
don't.
do for Christmas.
Yeah, just be like, I don't appreciate you guys wrecking my holiday. Um, it was
Yeah.
sounds like a promising holiday. You had like
I love
other
I
stuff.
love Christmas in Japan because the KFC is immaculate.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah, I
what
was
is
just
this? Is this
yeah, so
decentralized finance?
well, just more just kind of showing some of the chaos. Rob like a lot of the overnight market trading was totally cut off. Now, Robinhood is notorious for, having mysterious technical difficulties in times
Mhm.
of volatility where they can't afford to, you know, pay whatever they're lending out, or you know what I mean? Um so yeah, I mean, this was just like the last couple nights. Now today, we're seeing that, you know, there's a big bounce back today. I'm hoping that continues, right?
Yeah. We hope Japan's economy stays good. This is like an index of like all their largest industries, right? Like largest
Yeah,
companies. It's like the Dow.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, look
So
at that. It seems to have bounced back pretty well.
yeah, I
Well,
mean, the problem was that I think a lot of the
oh, this is for
fear
the
comes
day. Can you
from.
hit the 5-day on it? Sorry.
Oh yeah, let's see here.
Okay, so this is what we're looking at. That big dump right there on today, like early this morning. But look, completely leveled off for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, what I was gonna say was that where people get antsy is, what they call contagion. Because when you have like a move this violent in the market, you know, not everyone just gets delevered that day. So, usually what happens is when you have like banks and funds, they are they're not totally like, like unwound or whatever, or deleveraged. But they're close. So they start scrambling to, find how they can save the position or whatever. So usually the after effects of this kind of move sometimes take, a few days, a week or whatever. So I think a lot of people are still probably kind of holding their breath to see how it affects other funds, other banks. I know yesterday they were already talking about how like the number 2 bank in Japan was getting screwed pretty hard, but obviously I think we would have heard more of that if they had gotten, totally liquidated. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, just gonna hold our breath, see what's, like I said, big bounce today. It doesn't mean that we're totally out of the clear, in my opinion. But there's also this doesn't help the general situation of the macro. Obviously, you also have Iran and Israel, which everyone's kind of, I think, waiting to see what happens with that before they make big moves. I wonder if I have it. Iran just, it's interesting times we live in where Iran basically made like a diss track yesterday.
Really? Like a song?
They made like it's not a song. They made like a trailer.
Oh yeah.
They were like, and it was like stock footage of missiles being loaded up, and they were playing this menacing music and a clock with alarms behind it. And I was like, I love the time that we live in where countries like beef on X. Like,
Yeah.
like somebody who's like, like, if you're gonna shoot the missiles, just shoot the missiles. What the hell is this? Like, they're like, here's my new 2-minute trailer of what I'm gonna do to you. And then, Israel's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, check out this new trailer of stuff blowing up that we're gonna do to you.
They
Um,
dropped like a war promo, like an
yeah,
advertisement
war
for a war.
promo.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I Yeah, I was talking to someone about that because that came up while I was away. Someone told me they were like Israelis blew up someone in Tehran, and they also blew up like a soccer field in Lebanon or something. I was like, that's wild. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do about it, but that's crazy for them. No, No, but if I remember, something like this happened earlier too this year, with Iran, where like some military target was like struck, and then Iran was like, "We're gonna retaliate, and then they sent like a bunch of drones. You remember?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's like part of the culture over in the. Well, I guess it's probably everywhere where you have to make like a big scene, like you're gonna do something, even if you can't really do anything. Because they've been saying this for a while. It's been like 4 days where they're like, "We're really gonna we're gonna get
Yeah,
you
and then
good."
they dropped when they dropped the trailer as well, they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna get you back by Wednesday." It's like, why are you
They
telegraphing
keep
that?
pushing the deadline, but I mean, not to add to further instability to the market, but because I know some important market makers are watching this. What if they do launch? What if it's like we just keep delaying because they have to wait for the nuke to charge?
That
The
could be
big,
true. They might. Yeah, they were
the
like,
big
"Oh
nuclear
shit,
bomb.
does anybody have a C charger? I only have an iPhone charger."
Yeah, they got it like plugged up to a Tesla supercharger or something. They smuggled one in. They're trying to reassemble it. Nah,
Could be.
yeah, no, this doesn't help for the overall market uncertainty. It seems like a lot of things that were kind of unrelated just kind of happen at once.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say was, I don't know if it's good news. It's just some fucking guy from the Wall Street Journal that said this, but it was an opinion article saying that he thinks rate cuts much more likely as a result. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know too much about that. Possibly. I guess they were telegraphing it last meeting, the Fed, but I don't know
Yeah,
if
they
these
were saying,
predictions
they were like kind of telegraphing that, September would probably be a rate cut finally. Um, but they did have like an emergency meeting. I guess that was yesterday.
well, so they did have the emergency meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Um,
it's like we're waiting for them to announce the Pope, isn't it?
yeah.
Dude, the
Which,
VIX is down 30%.
it's a mixed thing because traditionally, when they do finally drop a rate cut, traditionally you do end up hitting like some form of recession. But I guess we're just like in a different situation where, because there's been so much pain for over a year, I mean maybe even 18 months. I think, yeah, most people view it like, okay, when we finally see a rate cut, it's time to, risk back on a little bit. Um, I would not be shocked if they do a rate cut if it's like a very lean, like, 25 basis points kind of rate
What if
cut.
they do something crazy that they've never done before? What if they're like 0.1%?
Yeah, they just need to be
1
like,
basis
yeah,
point.
we're dropping it like 400 basis points. Let's go,
No, we're doing just 1 basis point, just one. One very tiny one. That's how they
Yeah.
should be doing, dude. That's why this market's all fucked up, dude. They keep doing these big, hefty 25 basis point cuts. They need to do one.
Just one. I mean,
Adjust
knowing
by
that,
degrees,
yeah, I mean, knowing what we know about the Fed, I don't think they're ever going to do anything just to like make everyone happy. So
Which, is honestly, as much as we should talk them, dude, honestly, great work to resist the temptation of a bunch of people screaming at you every single month to
oh yeah,
to cut the rate.
yeah. I mean, that's the kind of job that I imagine it takes years off your life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That is not an easy deal. I did pull up Bitcoin just to look at it, and you know looking at the big support here, like I said, Ichi on the weekly is crazy powerful. It's wild that it just wicked right at the strong support. um I think we're still in play here. Like I said, blue line is like the magnet. You're gonna touch that regardless, what's going on. Red line is like the kind of like big time end of the world support.
Okay.
Got some order block meme lines here. you know Looks like we're playing in between 60 55. So I know I say this all the time when pulling up the weekly, but that's the point, right? Is that the when in doubt, zoom out kind of. I'm pulling
Just
this up to
soothe
say
me.
like we're not dead. You know what I mean?
Look, the hole's got a little boat in it. It's not sunk yet. No,
Yeah.
no. This does make me feel better. The weekly chart always soothes me when you show this. Those blocks seem so big and far away. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
it's
the
that
thing
support is
about
at like 52. That second support is 52.
I think that's let's
So
see.
didn't it go down
Yeah,
below 50?
I
Oh, it
mean
wicked down.
it wicked yeah, I mean it wicked 49 something. But immediately got eaten up, which is bullish. Something else that I like to point out is when you have a technical dip, which, technical dips are a lot more rare than like a fundamental dip, right? When you have something that's like a technical dip, it usually recovers a lot faster. And
Mm.
I think the hope with what happened yesterday, right now, I'm kind of leaning towards this was like a technical dip. I wouldn't be shocked to see us climb back up over 60 pretty fast, but that's also like we were just talking about. That's barring that there isn't another war started this week. Barring that there is not contagion from the yen trade unwinding the yen carry.
The U.S. commercial market is gonna completely collapse this week, like everyone's been saying for the last like year and a half, 2
Yeah,
years. So
I think I think that if we avoid major contagion, Iran, Israel fizzles out, it should be back to business. So let's pull up
fingers crossed,
Fantom.
buddy.
Yeah, let's take a
Let's all
gander.
love each other. Let's all get along. No more wars.
Yeah, no more for the sake of our bags and industry.
No more for the sake of Sonic.
For the sake of
You know?
Sonic. I want to get a line here. Yeah, this is not great.
Beautiful. Not great. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't love
Just crash through every single one of Dracula's supports. His meme lines collapsing like tissue paper.
Yeah, now it looks nice that it's trying to reclaim 30. Big daily close today. I'll be interested to see where Fantom closes.
If we close above 30, they'll get a show on Friday. If we close below 30, we're never going to see Dracula again. He's going to close out his fucking 1000x short he's had open.
Yep, my job is done. Yeah, I mean, looking here, it could be worse, but it's I don't know. We'll just have to see how it shakes out.
It's looking bleak, but actually, I don't think so. I think this is just a great spot to buy back in. Let's zoom out a little bit on this chart.
Yeah, so this is the daily. Zoomed out, I don't love it either.
Throw it on the 3-day, bro. Throw it on the 3-day. That might look better. That might look a little bit better.
Let's get some hope. Throw it on the 3-day.
Okay, see, look at that.
Playing within, yeah.
And now, thanks to the law of threes, which I remember from Mario, we're gonna get the biggest spike of all time forever. Next one, right, Dracula?
Yeah, that's right. I'm just like playing around here with some stuff. Down here, I don't use a lot of indicators, but I do like to have like at least kind of like one sometimes like lagging indicator. So this is TSI mixed with CCI, which TSI True Strength Index. This is just kind of like a momentum sort of, a way to kind of like see what's happening. But mixing them together is pretty powerful. I mean, you can see here we were crossing up in the green in this wave, and it caught that. Right here would have been like a big time, like everybody look out. You would have shorted from like up here. So problem with lagging indicators is, in hindsight, you might be like, oh, yeah, I mean, that's easier to see in hindsight. But I like to just kind of use it just to, get an idea of the consensus of what's happening. But yeah, I mean, same thing. I might leave it on the 3-day on Phantom. I kind of like this. This kind of makes it
It
easier.
does make you feel better. I'm telling you. Put it on a
Yeah.
week, bro. You'll feel
You'll feel
like a
great.
new man.
Well, so yeah, I mean, we still had a horrendous few days here. Losing 50, not great. Then everything that happened, we were kind of like losing 40, and then obviously, with everything that happened, we like instantly shot down to 30.
That expression, sell in May and go away, they made that for Fantom, dude.
I feel like they have. It's like, I mean, let's look on the chart here. Oh man, this is hard
Literally
to look at.
All been paying since
If you had sold in May, you would have sold it like 90 cents, and then you could come back and buy it 30 cents right now.
You triple, yeah.
I think next year I might just finally try that. I might just blindly cash everything out in May and see what happens.
I'm starting to think that's the way to go. I laughed at Clay when he first brought that up, but he was so right. His wisdom, dude.
Yeah, that's another old stock market kind of. I think it's just because the summer is just usually, I don't know why.
Everyone's spending money. Everyone's cashing out positions. They want to go on summer break.
Yeah, I guess it's that time. Yeah, I mean, same thing with the holidays. I mean, people start cashing out for Christmas and whatever they celebrate, and yeah. So something about the summer. I guess there is truth to it. But for people like us that are in the trenches every day, I just can't do that. So
it's our job to ride these flows, dude. We got to surf these waves, dude. I'm telling you.
That's right. But looking at something positive, how about just something kind of positive?
I want to see something positive.
Yeah.
The rebrand video.
Yeah, you want to. I actually played it on here. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, I did. I was tuned in, dude.
It makes me like I don't know. It's like it makes me think of something like right after that finishes, you're like you yell Thundercats or Power Rangers or
I feel like I'm ready to press the start button, dude.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm ready to play the game.
Yeah, like
from my Xbox. It was awesome.
So yeah, we had the rebrand. This was an announcement of something called Sonic Shards. So I guess it's going to be kind of like like one of those what do they call it? The things everybody does, like the campaigns that have you do tasks and
Oh yeah, quests.
Yeah, like I think it's gonna be like that.
Zeely.
Yeah, like Zeely. That's what I was thinking of. Where I guess you're gonna do stuff, get shards, and if you get them all, you get a reward. I think it says the reward is some kind of like rare, some kind of NFT. Here's old Nick here saying, "Let's get these MFN shards." But yeah, they're starting to, gear up, and that's good to see. I think that you have to I think there's going to be first, there's kind of like a social campaign. Then you have to move into like the points and how you're, getting started to, move towards like the airdrop stuff. So yeah, at least there was something positive to look at.
Yeah, I'm loving it, dude. We're approaching Sonic. I'm telling you, that's why selling May and go away, dude. I feel like the Foundation timed this perfectly. They know in the fall when this is coming. This game's
hopefully it's not like make it to fall and lose it all.
Dude, don't say that, dude. Rhymes have power. You should have never said that. It's fucking over. So now if we go to Zero, it's all Dracula's fault, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Sonic's still on like a good trajectory with timing. I think I don't know if it was with this announcement or I think they had another blog where they're not giving hard dates yet, but they are still saying like, November, December, somewhere around, end of the year. Um, I think regardless of what happens with the election, um, markets are always just better after the election. I don't know if it's just like because there's a new, I don't know, kind of like a fresh beginning or whatever. So
It's
we'll see what
because
happens.
it reaffirms the Republican ideals that ensure a swift and bloodless transfer of power, Dracula.
That's
It
all
reinforces the
right.
stability of the nation.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think that I remember when they first were kind of saying like, Sonic will be like towards the end of the year. To me that sounded like a good time to do it. I never, I've said this many times on the show that I'm like, I don't think we're in the bull market yet. And obviously seeing what we've been going through, we're not there yet. There's just too much macro stuff going on, which I'm not one of those people that only makes decisions based on macro. But it is a factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder if I can actually. There was a really good tweet from Kobe. If anyone's familiar with, Kobe, one of the most well-known whales in crypto. But essentially, he had written that he felt like 2024 was maybe not even any kind of market, because you have these periods that are right in between bear and bull markets. And he pointed to 2019, which was very similar to this year, where you had, good price action, you had bad price action, but that most of the volume was from new things like perps, which had not really been a thing yet. And like some of the first ETFs that, came around that were, they weren't direct Bitcoin ETFs, but they were like ways to kind of like secondhand have some kind of Bitcoin exposure. So in his mind, he was saying that he still feels like, you're not going to see the real bull market kind of start till like 2025.
Oh my God.
Which is possible.
That makes sense.
I still feel like, 6-7 months for Bitcoin halving action to really take hold. I think that puts us right at like the end of the year, right? So I think Sonic's going to drop at just the right time. They already have a ton of partners lined up. They already have a ton of protocols lined up. I think they're going to come out strong. There hasn't really been like that DeFi chain ever since Fantom in the first run,
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what they're coming back for, like a round 2, because there's still just nobody that's come out since then that's just like planted that flag, and when I say that, I'm talking about like, look at Arbitrum. They have GMX and they have like Camelot, but that's like it. There's a lot of these chains that have like one big protocol. But when I say like DeFi chain, I'm like, thinking about like, remember Fantom in the last run? There was like how many DeFi projects, how many launching every week. There was just stuff going on constantly with DeFi, new opportunities, new things to find, new things to try out. And I think that's what's gearing up for Sonic, right? I think there's going to be a lot of projects that are live on day one, and there's going to be more coming. So to me, that's exciting as more of like a DeFi guy. So yeah, I still think we're on track for this to come out at just the right time.
Yeah, I feel like there's like the development pressure is building and building, right? They've got all these people ready to like launch all these new things ready to go. So I think you're right, dude. And I think the longer we wait, just the more explosive it's going to be.
That's
At least
right.
that's my prayer. That's what I'm banking on.
So, there was also this other thing here where there was a challenge you can check your portfolio or sing in Chinese. Which are you gonna do?
我们今生注定是沧桑，苦之来要笑着走过呀。朋友
Feeling it, man.
That's a banger.
Can you
That
sing in
was-
Chinese, Dracula?
No, I would sound terrible trying to do that.
You'd rather check your own portfolio, dude?
Yeah, I haven't
You're
checked it
crazy.
today.
If I look at it again, I'm gonna puke.
So, yeah, I mean that's about all we got today. You know. Oh yeah, Disco Chuck. Yeah, me too. Me
Just good,
too.
dog.
Can't wait for the first Tomb Fork to launch on Sonic. I can't
He's
wait.
doing
I
what
hope.
we're all thinking.
Yeah, I hope that as long as they have the Genesis farming, where you get like 2 or 3 days to farm even harder, and then you just instantly cash out and use everybody as your exit liquidity. I just dropped the rules on you guys, so
You just got a free game from Dracula.
that's free game. When they have the Genesis farming, just farm the shit out of that and immediately sell. And within 2 weeks, you'll see that the price has gone to zero and you made the right decision. So, but those are fun. Remember Tomb Season? You know, those were like launching every week. And yeah, I just played all those exactly how I just told you. That was
Mhm.
felt a little dirty, but it got the job done.
I was
Ohm season was truly my favorite. That was
I was a wee babe then, and my friends just told me, stay away from that, Corval. You don't want to mess around with that stuff, Corval. It's too dangerous.
yeah. Here he says 1000%. Yeah, it'd be like those Ohm fork.
That was the APY.
Oh yeah, they'd hit you with like 3,000, 4,000. Which it's kind of wild to me that I've talked about this a lot with people that as a protocol, it's kind of wild that Ohm actually ended up being one of the strongest. I mean, they're still around and they're killing it. But that was because the bonds were meant to just raise capital, right?
Yeah.
So they got to a point where they built their treasury and then they said, okay, well, now we go to normal yields. None of the forks did that though. The forks, you just wind it up and, same thing as a Tomb Fork. You just sell it until it's like dead and, But
yeah, I mean, the Ohm thing was literally all about acquiring like a massive amount, like a massive treasury of assets, wasn't it? Like just straight up.
Yeah, I mean, that was always the game plan was like, we're going to have all this crazy stuff, but crazy, APRs, but that is just to raise the treasury. And then we'll, what they did with that treasury is then they developed products. And those products, basically it was like every product they developed added to their like real yield. Actually at this point, I don't even think they really, I don't think they have emissions. I mean, they have 2 or 3 big products and, it's real yield and, that whole thing.
Okay.
What's up, MVK? Yeah,
MVK.
we're gonna post this link on X, but we were having technical difficulties with X this morning, and that's where most of our viewers watch from. So we're gonna post it over there, but we appreciate you guys hanging with us on YouTube.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming over and joining us in Disco Chuck over here on YouTube.
Yeah, so I think that's about all we got today. Hopefully Friday we'll say there was no war, no banks folded, and now Fantom is back to like 40 cents.
I'm praying on it, dude.
So yeah, but yeah, good show today. We will catch you guys later this week.
Thanks, Dracula, and thank you all. Adios.